Right, I am now just about to make my seat. It's going to be a gel seat and it's going to be maximum comfort. It's a seat that's designed for me to do long distances, for spend all day on the bike. So and I don't have a fancy camera, I just have my phone, so I can't stop and start and do a step-by-step video. Instead, what I'm going to show you is all the equipment that I'm going to use, and maybe at the end of it I'll show you what it looks like before I put the cover on. But here goes. First thing, this is my seat base. You've seen this from the previous video, no need to talk any more about it. This is the seat foam. I'll come back to that in a minute. This is the gel. I'll come back to that in a minute too. You need an electric carving knife, and this is a good old-fashioned knife that you used to do your Sunday roast with, and you can see it's got two blades. The action of the two blades is what you need. It's a lot easier to cut. You get a nice smooth cut with this. Then I'm going to wrap everything in a thick plastic bag. I probably won't use this bag, but make sure you use a thick plastic bag. You know, your cheap shitty supermarket ones are not going to be good enough. Get a heavy duty plastic bag. And this is my seat cover, which is actually the cushion cover from a black leather sofa. The leather is really thick. It's nice leather, and best of all, you can see that it's all a bit crazed and a bit distressed, is apparently the cool word. But yeah, basically the leather looks nicely worn in. So my supposed post-apocalyptic rat bike doesn't have brand spanking new leather on the seat. It looks like it's a bit worn in already. So the gel, can you see that? This is medical grade seating gel. It comes from a company in Essex called Dan Medica South. They make it in a big square pad like this to go on a wheelchair, and they also make motorbike seat shapes, but they only do 3 or 4 separate sizes, and those aren't the right size for the seat I want to make. So that's why I've had to buy this large square for a wheelchair. I'm not going to use all of it. You can cut this gel. The only problem is that if you cut it, it then squidges out the plastic, so you've instantly got to tape up the sides where you cut it. But yeah, you cut it with a standing knife, it cuts easy, but it's beautifully comfortable to sit on. The only problem is this is 18mm thick, and it's not thick enough for you to sit directly on the board. So you need to have a cushion underneath. Yeah, there you go. You need to have foam underneath the gel. Now, whether or not you're doing putting gel on your seat, it doesn't matter. The best advice I can give you is buy your foam in layers and build it up in layers onto your seat base. You also buy the foam glue the glue that's designed to stick the foam together. So the other thing is, look at this foam, this stuff with this is known as Recon or reconstituted foam. It's really firm. Do not use anything else. Like the whole problem with motorbike seats is that the manufacturers put cheap shit foam in. This stuff, it's really fucking dense. I mean, look at that. That's me putting my entire weight through this, and it's hardly distorting at all. So this is, do not economize on your foam. You know, you don't have to put gel in, that's possibly going over the top, but make sure you're using good quality foam. Recon foam is the densest, and sometimes you could even get 2 or 3 different weights of it. Go for the densest possible weight of it, because it will eventually compress, and the bones in your arse are known as the ischials, and in the privacy of your own home, grab hold of your arse and you will feel that at the end of your ischial is pointy. In other words, your arse bone is pointy, and so you know, your weight is going down onto 2 points on this foam, on the seat foam. So put the best possible foam under your arse that you can get. Otherwise it's just shit, and after an hour or two it goes flat and you might as well be sat straight on the seat cover, on the seat board itself. So the way it works is basically now I bought this stuff I bought from this company here, efoam.co.uk. When I lived in Australia, I couldn't get Recon foam in Australia, so this company was able to they shipped out the foam to me in Australia. The first cushion cost me £7, the second cushion cost me £1, and the third cushion cost me 90p. So I've probably bought more than I need, but hell, for the price of it, for an additional 90p, fuck it, I'll get another one. So the principle is, you get your foam glue and you get your seat base, you spray your seat base, you stick your foam on it, you get your knife, you trim the edges away, and then maybe you want a second layer of foam on it, you can put that on and you can trim at an angle. The important thing is, right, the top layer has to be the gel. Your bum has to sit on gel, and your gel has to be supported by some foam. Now, I asked, when I bought this, I requested this be cut to 18mm thick, and the idea was that I would build up a couple of layers of this, and then using the knife I was going to cut out a shape where my arse is going to go, and I'm going to cut out a piece of the foam, and I will sink in the foam and drop it into here, spray it all over, so that I'm not using too much foam, because that's, sorry, not using too much gel. So I cut out a window into the gel, into the foam, and put a corresponding piece of gel into it. And then at the front, what I've got to do is, like I mentioned earlier, you want to make it taper up to a point at the front, so give yourself a nice sharp angle here, cut into that way and cut into that way, so that then when you're sat riding on the bike, your bum is at the back here, and then when you're stopping at traffic lights, you stand up. You move forward and stand up at the point where the seat is at its narrowest. That's what you're doing at the front there. And always order a slightly bigger piece of foam, because obviously you can cut it away but you can't add to it. So I'll show you how I've done it at the end, but yeah, basically your gel has to be supported by foam underneath it. And one thing I'm going to consider doing is wrap the gel around to the areas where your legs come down the side. So that means I'll have to cut a lot away here for the gel to fill that area. Then once you've done all this, I always wrap it up in a plastic bag, tape it up with gaffer tape, and then you put your seat cover onto it. I'm going to cut it open. It'll take ages to do. Cut around it. Now, on this polyethylene board here, what I find is that self-tapping screws is a good way of securing the seat cover. Or a staple gun. I've used both in the past. I have a feeling this particular board is denser than that I've used before, and I've had to pre-drill the board to get these screws in, so I think I'm going to have to use the screws. I don't think this staple gun will be up to the task. But anyway, that in principle is how you make a gel seat. You buy your gel from Dan Medica South. You get your foam, and it has to be this reconstituted foam, Recon foam, and I get it from efoam.co.uk. I know these fuckers don't sponsor me. Maybe they should. Right, I'm going to have a go at making the seat. It'll probably take me a while, so next video to come after all that. Bye.